right through my living room? You gotta be kidding.
What they're doing is splitting the whole city in two. It's terrible.
My business will be ruined. They can't do this to me.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
It doesn't have to be that way. Really, it doesn't. And I'll show you why. I'm Larry Burrell, a reporter, a commentator, an observer and critic of the American scene. And believe me, I share with many others a deep concern over the way that the absolute need, and there is a need for more and bigger superhighways through and around our cities, has in some cases aroused deep public resentment, particularly when the freeway results in a forest of ugly concrete pillars, or a mound of earth that blots out the horizon, or a deep gash in the ground that cuts a city in two. Then who can blame the people for crying, "Another freeway? Who needs it?" Like a hole in the head. But as a reporter, I must tell you that I have discovered and investigated one freeway project which isn't like that at all. A freeway which will not disrupt and destroy, but will actually enhance and improve the environment. It's the proposed Papago Freeway. It will extend across Phoenix from the Black Canyon Highway to the city limits of Scottsdale and intersect the proposed Squaw Peak Freeway. Let me tell you about it. This is a voluminous report on the project prepared for the Arizona Highway Department by the firm of Johannesson and Durand, consulting engineers. It is the result of intensive and exhaustive work by a new kind of freeway designing team. A team consisting of not just technicians, but aesthetically oriented architects, economists, lawyers, appraisers, and even sociologists. Men with the international stature of, for example, James W. Elmore, Dean of the College of Architecture at Arizona State University. Together, they created an entirely different concept of freeway design. A total concept, sensitive to the environment, to the effect of the freeway on the city, and to the choreography of motion. This is a model of the proposed freeway. It duplicates in every detail the area affected by the project. As you see, the freeway is designed to be elevated. Elevated on structure, not on an embankment. High above the ground, so all traffic on the city streets can pass under it. No interference with normal traffic, even when the freeway is under construction. No interruption of underground utilities while it's being built. And future utilities could be added without difficulty. Streets could be widened easily, if necessary, in later years. No dark jungle of concrete pillars either, but beautifully sculptured columns, widely spaced, blending into the environment. You can see here, too, how the eastbound and westbound lanes are generously separated in some sections so that sunlight can reach the entire area under the freeway. What's more, this separation of lanes means motorists will be spared the distraction of cars rapidly approaching from the opposite direction and won't have to face the dangerous glare of oncoming headlights at night. It's easy to understand why this elevated concept has been approved by every agency connected with the project, and most significantly has been endorsed by the central chapter of the American Institute of Architects. Being high in the sky and with widely separated lanes, the freeway will allow a great amount of so-called joint development all along its route. Now, that term joint development comes from a far-sighted and inspired theory conceived by Mr. Francis C. Turner, Federal Highway Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration. It is his belief that through cooperation between the builders of a freeway and city, county, state, and private interests, the whole freeway area can be developed into an urban asset. With this Papago Freeway, for instance, sun-bathed parks, playgrounds, shopping centers, recreation areas, housing developments. All manner of aesthetically desirable improvements are possible. In fact, already a leading Phoenix hospital has asked that it be allowed to build a new nurses' quarters under the freeway. They think it will be a very desirable location. The designers were particularly concerned about the effect of the freeway on the main business section of Phoenix. That is the area between 7th Avenue on the west and 7th Street on the east. Here, there is already a serious traffic problem. The area has many buildings representing an investment of hundreds of millions of dollars. Certainly, the freeway could not be allowed to either degrade the environment nor add to the already difficult problems of congestion. What's more, since Central Avenue is literally the main street of Phoenix, very heavily traveled, it would be totally impractical to provide on and off ramps at the point where the freeway will intersect it, or even to thrust the freeway as a whole across it. So a unique design was created which separates the east and west roadways by a full city block in a graceful double arc, supports the freeway on sculptured columns that are wide apart, and best of all, elevates the whole freeway far above the ground. Various heights for the crossing were studied by the design team. Through a little movie magic, let's see how the different heights would appear to you if you were driving south on Central after the freeway is finished. This is the way the freeway would look if it were elevated only 50 feet above the ground. This is how it would appear if it were raised 70 feet. And this is at a height of 100 feet. Personally, I like the higher elevation, way up there. Now let's see how the crossing at Central would appear if you were driving on the freeway itself, say from west to east. As you approach the main business area, you will be gradually rising until by the time you are within a quarter of a mile of Central, you are pretty well up in the air. You continue to rise now, higher and higher, and you can see the panorama of the downtown section begin to spread before you. By the time you cross Central, you can see the whole metropolitan area of Phoenix, from the mountain ranges on the north and south to the Papago Buttes far ahead in Scottsdale. This is a sight that should be a real kick for every visitor and never grow stale even for people who drive the freeway every day. But suppose you want to leave or get on the freeway at Central. We have already seen that putting conventional on and off ramps at the intersection would be wholly impractical. So the design team envisioned special kinds of interchanges to be located between 3rd and 5th Avenues on the west and 3rd and 5th Streets on the east, which will serve the downtown area. They studied two kinds in particular. This one is called a 3-level split diamond interchange, the platform concept. It has many advantages, but some drawbacks. A motorist who wants to get on the freeway from the downtown area must pass through 3 intersections involving 3 traffic lights, normally synchronized, and make one left turn before he merges with the freeway traffic to go in one direction. If he wishes to travel on the freeway in the other direction, he need only make a right turn and merge with the freeway traffic. An eastbound motorist wanting to leave the freeway and travel south makes a right turn onto 3rd Street and continues without stopping. An eastbound motorist wanting to leave the freeway and travel north must pass through 3 intersections controlled by traffic signals and make one left turn. Average speed on the interchange will be 25 miles per hour. So there are some pluses and some minuses in the platform concept. The other interchange, closely studied by the team, has a wholly new kind of design and a new name, helicoil. It is a circular interchange made up of a series of concentric helices to form a helicoil. I'm told it's economical to build, very efficient from a traffic handling standpoint, and as you can see, extremely satisfying from an aesthetic point of view. With this helicoil design, a motorist exits at the same place, no matter which direction he may want to go. And once on the ramp, he can travel at 35 miles per hour. Easily read signs will tell him well in advance whether he wants to leave the ramp and go one way or continue on down to go in the opposite direction. And getting onto the freeway is just as easy and uncomplicated. No corners, no sharp curves, no jumble of directional signs, no traffic signals, no jam-ups. And now we come to that part of the Papago Freeway concept, which I find the most stimulating and interesting of all. The creation of an entirely new asset for the city of Phoenix, Central Park. It will be in the area which is framed and defined by the widely separated bridges over Central Avenue. Beneath the soaring sculpture of the freeway, supported by columns far apart, the designers envision a sweep of beautiful greenery, lush tropical vegetation, and all manner of attractive municipal goodies, swimming pools, an orchestra shell, fountains, playgrounds for kids, winding paths for strollers, artificial lakes, bicycle trails, shuffleboard courts, tennis courts. A slice of gracious outdoor living dropped right into the heart of the metropolis. A whole new asset, a whole new beautiful addition to the city of Phoenix. That will be Central Park one day. I wish I had time to tell you more of what I have learned about the Papago Freeway project, how it will actually reduce noise and air pollution by taking traffic off the streets and putting it up in the air, how it will improve and enhance every neighborhood it touches, and how it will meet not only the traffic needs of the foreseeable future, but will anticipate growth of the city even beyond the most visionary predictions. In any case, I do want you to hear from someone else. Here is a man who can sum up this whole project in a very few words. He is the state highway engineer for the Arizona Highway Department and has been one of the chief backers of the freeway from its very inception, Mr. William N. Price. Bill?
Well, let me say this. I'm certain that not too many years from now, when this Papago Freeway has become a reality, it is going to be to Phoenix a landmark we can all be proud of. I think it's going to be to Phoenix what the Memorial Arch is to St. Louis, the Space Needle is to Seattle, and the Golden Gate Bridge is to San Francisco. I'm an engineer, and I don't normally use words like soaring sculptor, but maybe I'd better because I agree that's exactly what the Papago Freeway is going to be.
Right, Bill. Personally, I can't wait to get my wheels on it. How about you?